This mortal coil is of no concern to me, as I have created.
Let's sew the truly Victorian TV 381, which is an 1885 pannier panel add-on and must be used with the truly Victorian TV 261. This combo will result in a late Bustle era 1883 through 1889 elaborate ball gown. Once everything is cut out, manage all darts. While you watch me manage all of the darts, I'm going to ramble a bit. I have about 10 yards of silk taffeta for the skirt alone. No, you don't want to think about the cost. And we are cutting the pattern out at a 26-inch waist and a 36-inch hip. Base this measurement on your corset measurement or you will be sad. So stuff yourself into your era-appropriate corset and take some measurements. I highly suggest that you understand that you have two measurements in a corset. A vanity measurement in which you will need to be propped in a corner of a room for an event, or a realistic measurement in which you can dance and participate in the event. Do the realistic lacing because we are here to participate in life and not just be objects to be admired. We can do both. The front shirring goes directly over the front panel. How this is gathered up is up to you. You could do pleats, you could do gathers, you could do intermittent gathers. I did gathers from the top to the bottom, evenly spaced out. I also experimented with a lace trim. It's not era appropriate and eventually got removed. I don't always time travel in what I sew, but I do want that option because I am planning on a pannier that will be covering the top part of the front shirring. The top of the shirring is cut away to reduce bulk. This is laid directly on top of the front panel and sewn up the sides. It will be treated as one piece in the future when the sides and the side panels are sewn on. Sew and iron back the side panel darts and sew up the sides. The pattern has half an inch provided within the pattern for seam allowance. I planned on French seams, so I made sure when I cut everything out, I gave myself another half inch. This is the point to French seam the front panel and shirring into the side panels. I'm using a contrasting moss green for the top side panels. This is the one place I'm not thrilled with the pattern.
Let me explain. Okay. When I am walking, what I am noticing is if this flips forward, this is going to catch on something. I'm not that good. I am a careless human being. So I don't want a pocket that isn't a pocket, that isn't closed up, but that if I sew it, I'll have this weird line right here. I don't like this. I don't care if this is expensive material or not. This next time, this part, this is just going to be a full mirror image of this. Now, because I understand that this part folds in, and I am very sure that I can sew this part down, but the thing is that I still don't like the way it looks, and I don't like the way it's folding. I don't like any part of it. Now, how am I going to manage this dress? Trim. We will cover this at the end of the video and then in an entirely separate video from this, because this took me 2 weeks. This was a complete episode in and of itself just because of the volume of time. So we will deal with trim, which is over there, at the end of this video this is what I will be working with. And then you'll get a whole new video on me throwing trim at it, because you can see my petticoat. We're not doing that for reals. We'll be covering that.
However you choose to cut this out, it's time to manage the side panel darts as well as attaching the back to the front of the panel. Manage the darts on the pannier and place your gather lines. If you place the entire panel on top of the skirt, it's easier to figure out exactly where you want to end your gathers. Absolutely measure things to double check your eyeballing good enough nature. Once you have the gathers on the pannier where you like them, sew up the sides and the waistband. Look at your darts and make sure that things are even on the left and right side. This is the point that I officially decided that this was a design feature that I do not like at all, and you can see that the front of the skirt is basically done. Now we will manage the back of the skirt. When the back of the skirt is done, we will French seam the front to the back and then manage the waistband. I am carefully marking where the poofs are supposed to attach. The next thing that we're going to do is manage the interior back skirt ruffles. We're going to hike up the bustled area and let this do more than peek out from below. Okay, this is the inside of the skirt. I promise everything's even, and now that I pulled that totally didn't work. All right, this is the back of the skirt. This is the inside lining. It was cut out so that there's no bustle. So this is gonna flat lay in the back, ruffled or gathered through here to come up and over the lobster tail. This will be the bottom back of the dress. Then this, let me see if I get this in the right way. Nope, this way. All right, this will be the top back of the dress, and these parts will connect to a ribbon from the waistband and will bustle and poof out. So poofy butt, sewn in here and sewn in here, and this was insane to make, by the way. All right, I've got two. Don't break the light, Nora. Okay, got two of these. I believe that it'll go all the way around the dress. However, I'm not gonna actually attach any of this until the end because I don't actually have what I want on the top of it. Fluffy Bunny Universe, in which I have absolutely everything, I would find a green velvet ribbon that sort of matched this to go over the top, and then it would just go right there. Okay. I am planning on adding this at the bottom right here over that. So the real question is, where do I sew in this on the side? I'm gonna have to fiddle with this, but I can say, I know that I want the pleating to overlay about to here, which means right here is the top of it. I should plan on sewing that in right about here. Okay, and then this goes at the top. Let's mess with this a little bit. All right, now we're to the side. I know that the pleats are gonna get added here and cover up this section right here. This has been brought up. I've got a little extra material right here. This is the top. I think what I'm actually going to do is bring this up a little bit more and start gathering it just a little bit right in here so that this actually gets laid down a little bit more. Or actually, no. Here. There, done. I'm just gonna create one more pleat. My goodness, how easy is that? Okay, I'm gonna create one more pleat, do the exact same, sew this down. The sides have been sewn up and it is time to create the opening. If you are making the TV261, the opening is located at the side. If you are adding TV381, like we are in this video, the opening is moved to the back. They say to do two things that I did not do. First, they said to create the opening twice on both layers, separately. I decided that this sounded like I was going to get tangled up in a skirt eventually, and that I would either have death by satin on my tombstone, or even worse, I'd rip a skirt. As this is not the epic finale I would like to have at a ripe old age of 120, I'm going to flat lay both and in the center place the opening through both. This opening will be covered by the bodice. The second thing that the pattern calls for, and which I will do the next time I do this, is to gather both layers at the waist separately from the other and then insert into the waistband. I neglected to do that. While you are managing your opening, gathers, and waistband plan, manage the ribbons that go in between the green and gold layer. You probably want to, in fact, insert them after you gather these two layers separately so that you can place the ribbons exactly where you want them, 2 at the sides and 1 down the middle. It's now time to gather up all of your patience and trust and put the skirt into the waistband. It is absolutely shocking by how much material can be gathered up and put into the back of the skirt. Center the waistband on the front of the skirt and pin that first. Give yourself an inch at the end of the waistband for overlap. The rest of the back of the skirt gets shoved into whatever room is left. Use your bustle marks from the pattern, as well as some smart choices to tack the back bustles to the interior tapes. This is going to take some time.
All right, we're at the end of the video, and now let's talk trim. This is the trim I won't be using. Let me explain. This is not era appropriate. I'm not using it. This is not era appropriate. I'm not using it. This is also not era appropriate. I'm not using it. Closer. Maybe. But I'm running this by a couple of friends who know better than me before I do anything. And we will discuss it in another video. Same. I know I'm good here. It's a silk ribbon. It's a really nice silk ribbon. I'm slightly intimidated by it, and it's really, really soft. I've never touched a ribbon like this before. The original tempting idea was to place this ribbon along the edging here and line it all the way down. That would take care of my opening issue, and that would be smart. I have a lot of pleating, and if you have done pleating before, I can hear you from here through time as you go, oh, wow, nice. All right, I cannot believe I made such wide pleats because that's just downright expensive craziness, but I really like the look and I had the material, so I'm doing it. Okay, pretend that's sewn and pretend I have shoes on here. Let me cover up my toes. Okay, this will get aimed perfectly at the bottom of this to graze the top of the floor when I have my shoes on. I'm going to elicit some help from either my daughter, my son, or my husband. All three are, it's a toss-up on who's going to be actually good at it. I may time this when all three are home and be able to reject them as they go and mess up. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. Anyway, so that's what's happening there. Now here's the thing. I think this is enough trim to go all the way around, but I want to cover up that white ribbon down there because I don't like the look of it at all. So that doesn't exist. And I'm thinking, okay, let's see if I can do this from here. You know, do something like that, where it's at the bottom and it covers up the that ribbon. Okay. Or I also happen to have this green silk chiffon, and I could easily create a tube out of this that does some really cool bubbling, and then I can do trim work with the chiffon and also probably around the neckline of the bodice. So I have that. I also have a lot of tassels, and this is the Gilded Age. Bring on all of the tassels, and some of the ones that I have are really extra and pretty. So I will figure something out somewhere along here, and it's going to be glorious. Okay, I have more lace over here that I am going to run by friends who know better than I do on period appropriateness. I also have at least 6 yards of a striped brown chiffon. This is a lot. I got it on sale too. I have absolutely no problem with creating drapery, possibly another poof in the back. I don't mind having something that comes up and around and then down and attached and then here and being all fluffy and flouncy and epic, and it's soft and it goes with my color, and I love that. I am deeply happy with my hair, my skin tone, and these colors. This is wonderful. So, we have a chiffon, loopity-loop, we could do something like that, and here, and then add in some tassels on top of it. Now, do you see where we're going? This skirt isn't done. This skirt is just the base. Remember, truly Victorian is not about a finished product. You need to do that. You need to go through and look at everything that you would envision in your happiest state of what you would want to wear, and then you slap that on top of the base, and this is the base product of a truly Victorian skirt. If you have made it this far in the video, please subscribe. Please leave a comment. If you really love me, go find my Patreon. All applicable links will either be in the description or in a pinned comment, one or the other. But do leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you would wear. What trim would you do? What would you wear? What color? If you could have any color dress, what color dress would you want? I cannot express to you how absolutely stoked I am about this dress. This is just absolutely the most fun thing I think I have ever gotten to wear in my entire life. This is just absolutely fabulous. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna cover up the petticoat. We need a bodice, and I've got hair stuff will have to happen. And yeah, all right. Have a wonderful week.